legal right for any geothermal drilling in the rift of the world's most active volcano in length, if not in velocity, right in the middle of where people live. And you're talking about Opihi? People live in Opihi. That's right next door to Leilani.
Why we are treating the people who we are affecting their lifestyle, their health of past and present, their frustration as the bad guy. It was on that day in the early 80s that I got a call from a couple that lived at Leilani and asked me to have dinner with them. Because I'm such an anti-social son of a gun, I said no. I did ask them, you know, what is this about? And they just said, we just want you to come here and see what we have to deal with almost every night, depending on the wind, in regards to us having dinner or living here. So I went and told them, you know, no dinner is necessary, I'll come. But obviously, graciously, they served coffee and some snacks. I sat down with them, and the smell was atrocious. I don't know what the level was. You know, if I would have guessed now, it'd probably be in the 20 to 30 to 40 parts per billion. The Department of Health irritates me to some degree when they classify these things as nuisance. I used to tell them, you know what that sounds like to me? Asking a guy to stand knee-deep in shit and tell him from the shore, don't worry about it, it's not toxic. I cannot understand why we treat you like that. When I went to Honolulu and spoke before the commission, people who supported it to eliminate EIS, EAS, and to possibly make state lands available for it. And there was a speaker, there were speakers in front of me, and one of the speakers stated that when this is passed, which is the removal of EIS and EAS requirement for any exploratory drilling, that he knows there were about 20 drilling companies waiting to come. And I tell them that before testifying to you, I was concerned. But right now, I'm scared. I'm scared because of what I just heard of drilling companies waiting to come. I'm scared because the man in charge of the state of Hawaii for the land and natural resources says to the Star Honolulu Advertiser 2 days before that hearing, and you can look it up. What are they so concerned about? It's like drilling for water. That's what was said. I am sorry we are here. It's not supposed to be this way.
Aloha, thanks all for coming. I'm so encouraged. I quit for 15 years because I was so discouraged after the asset fund rules were passed, after our community worked on them for 6 months with the county, and at the hearing they passed a whole new set of rules that they came up with at the hearing that didn't even resemble what we worked on, and then passed them at the hearing. I was so disgusted I just walked away. I'm back. As you can see, this has been going on for 35 years. If you read the letters from 1982, they're the same. To the editor, they're the same as 2012. Nothing has changed, and it's up to us to try to change it. My position when I began was, oh, it sounds great. Our community association had some letter like, oh, this is great, we're going to have energy independence. But within 1 year, that turned the whole other way because of what's happening, what had happened to us. I live in the Kapoho subzone. I'm a quarter mile from SOH2. That is an exploration hole. That's how I started. I didn't even know I was in a geothermal resource subzone. I got a letter saying they're having this SOH project. I did my research. I went to mediation for the SOH project. I learned a lot. So when that Ormat mediation came up, they crossed the mediation so that we went 5 days a week on 2 different projects just to jam us up. But we did it. Most of the same people. We go to the second one. Here's the Ormat mediation. Ormat came with 10 conditions of approval. 10. Oh my. We looked at those. There were nothing. So the county wasn't even involved at that point. They come back with their revised rules. We couldn't believe it. We had, I think it was a 60-day limit to have the whole process. And by the time the county came in with their 40 conditions, we were halfway through. All the things that needed the most work got left to the end, and it was over. We had no record of anything. We had hired an expert from the Geysers geothermal area for our community association, and he tried to get into mediation with us and tell us, you cannot open vent that well with the mud splashing on everybody like they did. We tried to bring it into mediation that there is a way to abate this with a cyclonic separator. The mediator, the county, the developer, everyone ignored that report. It didn't end up in the mediator's report, never referred to, and they open vented that well, and you see the pictures there of the mud all over everyone. Unnecessary. Mediation is so flawed. There's no record of anything. We had a property value survey done by Eric Burkholm, showed how the property values and all around have plunged from this. Not a part of the mediator's report, never referred to. People worked hard and they just left out whatever they felt was not in their favor. So we had a community statement, and the mediator's report is available. You'll get it in the record. And our community statement was, they just told us that our only thing we could do is get relocated. That's all we wanted at the end, is get us out of here then. If you can't have reasonable measures to reduce the unreasonable effects, then we want out. So then the asset fund thing started. I didn't go to the governor's meeting. However, those who did came up with an idea that we would have a geothermal asset fund. Oh, great idea. I worked on the rules. I think I was on 4 asset rule committees, 4 different administrations. They bring you in, they work you, and then they toss you at the end. Oh, well, we're doing what we want anyway. So I'm bitter. I know what's going on. I came back out because I'm defending this fund. They're stealing from this fund for roads, for offices. This fund was one fund, and it was for permanent and temporary relocation. Years went by with 0 rules. When they finally made the rules, there was still only discussions of relocation of people. Then when we went in with the county for 6 months trying to work on these rules, they decided to have a community benefits fund. All of a sudden, when the condition got approved at the permit hearing in Kona, there was community benefits funds added to the language. We never saw the language. We never worked on condition 51. It was done in the back room. So they just connived this thing and passed it, and the hearing got closed. So all of us who had trucked over there had no say. Bob Eugene is saying it's the asset fund. Then there are rules. There are. So I think that it's a money grab on their part. They see all of this money. Millions of dollars have been taken without rules. And so that needs to be rectified. My position is they're stealing from this fund because that fund is meant for temporary and permanent relocation. Now the fund is in their hands, folks. It's in their hands and they're going to gut it. All that I think we need to have is people getting involved, because there's only been a few. I'm still here. It's been 35 years. That's how strongly I feel here.